In the chilling darkness of an October night in 2005, Christie Wilson vanished without a trace from a bustling casino's parking lot. This is the tale of a vibrant woman whose enigmatic disappearance from Thunder Valley Casino left a void in many lives. Christie Wilson, a brilliant spark in the world, was last seen in the early hours of an October night. Her face, captured by the cold precision of a surveillance camera, was etched with the innocence of a night out, unaware of the dark turn of events that awaited her. The parking lot, usually a hub of activity, bore silent witness to Christie's last known whereabouts. The footage showed her walking with a man she had met that evening at the casino, a certain Mario Garcia. Their paths crossed in a whirlwind of chance encounters, ultimately leading to an eerie void that Christie was soon to fall into. As the sun dawned, Christie's absence became palpable. The initial response by authorities was swift, but the shadows of the night had done their job too well. With no trace of Christie, the investigators were left grappling with a jigsaw puzzle of events, with each piece as elusive as the next. The investigation took a turn when authorities questioned Garcia. The scratch marks on his face and chest screamed of a struggle, a desperate fight. Yet, Christie was nowhere to be found. Garcia's past, tainted with a history of violence and a previous assault conviction, started to cast long, unsettling shadows on the case. The sterile confines of Garcia's car yielded the most damning evidence: hair and blood spots that matched Christie's DNA. The car, a silent spectator to the horrific events of that night, was a beacon of hope in the all-consuming darkness that had swallowed Christie. Yet, even as the pieces of the puzzle started falling into place, Christie remained missing. The search parties returned empty-handed, their faces etched with the despair of a mystery that seemed to deepen with each passing day. As the days turned into weeks, a grim realization dawned: Christie Wilson was nowhere to be found. The clues left behind pointed towards one man, Mario Garcia, a man with a past as dark as the night Christie disappeared. Mario Garcia, a name that would soon be infamous in this tragic tale. A seemingly ordinary man, but his past was littered with ominous shadows. He was the last person seen with Christie Wilson in the parking lot of Thunder Valley Casino. The surveillance footage showed them together, their encounter seemingly innocuous. However, when police questioned Garcia, evidence began to surface that painted a different picture. He bore scratch marks on his face and chest, marks that suggested a struggle perhaps with someone desperately trying to defend herself. And then there was the matter of Garcia's past. A past that was far from clean, a past that included a previous assault conviction. This wasn't a man who was unfamiliar with violence. This was a man who had a history of it. As the investigation continued, Garcia's initial denial of any wrongdoing began to crumble. The police found something in his car, something that would turn suspicion into certainty. Hair and blood spots, both matching Christie Wilson's DNA. The evidence was mounting, and it was all pointing to one man. Mario Garcia, a man who had gone from being a person of interest to the prime suspect in a horrifying crime. The surveillance footage, the scratch marks, his violent past, and the damning evidence in his car, it all formed a morbid jigsaw puzzle, and Garcia was the grim picture it painted. The noose was tightening, and with each passing day the evidence was stacking up against him. In the face of mounting evidence, Garcia's fate was sealed. Despite the deafening absence of a body, the courts rang loud with the verdict: guilty. The year was 2007. Mario Garcia, the man last seen with Christie Wilson, found himself in the unrelenting grip of the law. The trial was a spectacle, a chilling dance of justice, where the absence of a body was compensated by damning evidence. Garcia, who had previously met Wilson at the Thunder Valley Casino, was under the microscope. The prosecution presented a compelling case. There were the scratch marks on Garcia's face and chest, silent testimonials of a struggle. Then, there was Garcia's past, a history stained with violence, including a previous assault conviction. But the most damning evidence was microscopic, hidden in the recesses of Garcia's car. Detectives had found strands of hair and spots of blood, both belonging to Wilson. This was more than just circumstantial evidence. It was a beacon pointing towards a horrifying truth. The jury deliberated, and the verdict was unanimous: guilty of first-degree murder. The gavel fell, echoing the grim sentence, 59 years to life, a hefty punishment for a heinous crime. Mario Garcia was to spend the rest of his days behind bars, a fate sealed by his own violent actions. This was a rare occurrence in the annals of justice, a murder conviction without a body. The physical absence of Christie Wilson was a haunting presence in the courtroom, a silent plea for justice that had been heard and answered. Justice had been served, but one question remained: where was Christie Wilson? A decade and a half later, the ghost of Christie Wilson's case stirred once more. Time had marched on, but the answers to the haunting questions surrounding her disappearance remained buried, just like the secret of her final resting place. In the year 2019, a glimmer of hope emerged. Information surfaced from an unexpected source: Mario Garcia's sons. The same Mario Garcia who was serving a 59 years to life sentence for Christie's murder. His sons provided investigators with clues that breathed new life into the cold case. The information they shared pointed to a location, a potential burial site. The search was on. Armed with this new information, investigators embarked on a painstaking mission. It was a race against time and elements, a pursuit of justice that had been delayed but not denied. The search teams combed through the indicated area, every inch scrutinized, every lead pursued. The process was arduous and filled with uncertainty, but the resolve of the team was unshaken. And then, the unbelievable happened. The earth, which had held onto Christie's secret for 15 long years, finally gave way. Her remains were discovered, a silent testament to the tragedy that had unfolded years ago. A grim discovery, yet it brought a sense of bitter resolution. Christie Wilson, who had vanished from the face of the earth, was no longer just a name or a face on a missing persons poster. She was not just a memory, but a tangible part of the tragic narrative that had spanned over a decade and a half. The earth had yielded its secret, bringing a closure to the haunting mystery of Christie Wilson's disappearance. In the end, the tale of Christie Wilson served a bitter reminder of the darkness that lurks within our society. Her case, spanning over a decade, was riddled with unanswered questions, unsolved mysteries, and a relentless pursuit for truth. Christie Wilson vanished in October 2005, last seen in the parking lot of Thunder Valley Casino. The key suspect was Mario Garcia, a man she met that night at the casino. Scratches on Garcia's face, Wilson's DNA in his car, and his history of violence pointed at him as the perpetrator. Despite the absence of a body, Garcia was convicted of first-degree murder in 2007 and sentenced to 59 years to life in prison. It was a groundbreaking moment in the justice system, proving that convictions could be secured even without the victim's remains. However, the quest for truth did not end with Garcia's conviction. Investigators continued their search for Wilson's body, a necessary piece in the puzzle of her tragic end. In 2019, the investigators were led to the location of Wilson's remains, thanks to information obtained from Garcia's sons. The discovery of her remains, 15 years after her disappearance, was a poignant moment. It brought closure to a case that had loomed over the community for years, but it was also a stark reminder of the tragic fate that befell Christie. The resolution of Christie Wilson's case had a profound impact on the justice system and society. It underscored the importance of the investigators' persistence, their unwavering commitment to uncovering the truth, and the enduring search for justice, no matter how long it takes. Christie Wilson's story, though tragic, stands as a testament to the relentless pursuit of justice, a case closed, but never forgotten.